The Lithuanian flag has never looked so good. As we await the entrance of A.BANIULIS, 22 years old, that is 7 years younger than his opponent. He's also 2 centimeters shorter and 4 kilograms lighter. Wow, he's got, as far as all the statistics are concerned, he's got an uphill battle, but both these guys making their pro debuts here tonight. So it is a different world, a different kind of a fight once you're a professional. So amateur credentials certainly come into play. The number of fights that you've had, the kind of experience you've had, the level of competition you face, but as a professional, it's time to start all over again.
A.BANIULIS, Lithuania. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting for the red corner, 29 years old, official height 196 cm, official weight 97.3 kg, boxing champion of Ukraine and Zaporozhye, Gym Legion, Ukraine, I.BEZVERKHAYI. Fighting for the blue corner, 22 years old, official height 194 cm, official weight 93.5 kg, pro debut, Lithuanian boxing champion, European youth boxing champion, nickname Thoughtful, Kaunas Sport Club Gaya, Lithuania, A.BANIULIS. Referee Vilius Bobinas, boxing rules, 4 rounds, 3 minutes each.
4 razy 3 minuty. Jakiś dystans czasowy?
Round 1 underway here at Dream Boxing from Kaunas, Lithuania. That is A.BANIULIS of Lithuania in the blue gloves, and I.BEZVERKHAYI of Ukraine in the red gloves. 2 big guys, and as far as I understand, they've really got some very, very heavy hands in there. 2 very, very powerful individuals. Overhand right scores there from the Lithuanian. And because they are making their professional debuts here tonight, you're not going to see, this is not going to be a 12-round fight, ladies and gentlemen. This is 4 rounds of 3 minutes here. So you're not going to see a lot of typical, if you're into watching like those big heavyweight fights where these guys go 12 rounds, you're not going to see that here. You're going to see a lot more action crammed into smaller rounds, shorter rounds, and I expect to see the action hot and heavy here right from the beginning, as we're seeing already. A.BANIULIS has a lot of amateur experience, about 100 fights under his belt, over 100 fights actually. He is from here in Kaunas, so going to have a lot of support. He's probably got people from his gym, his family, friends, all in attendance here watching this. This is the biggest arena that they have in Lithuania. In fact, it's the biggest arena in all of the Baltic region here, all of those states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, all these areas. This is the biggest one. So this is the biggest stage that they have. It's a great opportunity for these guys to debut on here at Dream Boxing. A.BANIULIS in the blue gloves there had a very bizarre experience as an amateur back in 2014. He was fighting a fellow by the name of Fido Lonkar, and the bout was stopped prematurely. His opponent was really bent out of shape about the stoppage, went over to his corner, took off his gloves, and when it's time for the decision, he punched the referee right in the face, knocked him to the ground, got a couple of shots in with his bare fists before the ring filled up with people trying to break it up. Now, A.BANIULIS didn't do that. He was the opponent. He was just standing there watching it all go down. But a very bizarre situation. So So this guy's been through a lot. He's seen a lot. Oh, wow. Big overhand right there. Scores from the Ukrainian. Comes back with a couple of jabs now. 10-second hammer goes down here. And that'll do it. Let's take a look at what went down in round number 1. Both guys feeling each other out, but not afraid to throw their hands. That's for sure. They're going to have to. Keep in mind, this one's just 4 rounds of 3 minutes, almost like a kickboxing bout with an extra round, pretty much. But like I said, don't go make a sandwich now, guys. You got 2 very powerful heavyweights in there, so anything's possible. And let's see what happens here in round number 2.
Second round.
Touch of gloves and we're underway here. Round number 2 of a scheduled 4-rounder. 3 minutes on the clock here between Ukraine and Lithuania. And you can see right there, getting very busy. Referee allowing them to break themselves, which I like. I don't like a referee who just jumps in there at the drop of the hat. Likes to get between the fighters. I like to see the fighters work out of a clinch situation like that. Big miss there with the left hand by A.BANIULIS. Combination, he was a little bit out of range with the jab, but could have been just to get his eyes on something else before he threw the right. And there it is again. Short little shots there to the back of the neck that time by the Ukrainian. So many good Ukrainian boxers, of course, on the scene right now. Alexander Usyk really starting to make a name for himself. Of course, Vasyl Lomachenko. BEZVERKHAYI at 29 years old, just starting his career now. It's a little bit late to be getting into the professional game at 29 years old, but very credentialed amateur. Started at the age of 13 years old and actually works as a banker in his spare time, believe it or not. So, never know, he's sitting in one of those office jobs, you know, you can go crazy, you sit there for long enough, looking at that computer screen. You need to get some sport. Can't just sit there looking at a monitor all day. And what this guy does when he's done with work, he punches a time clock and goes out, he goes and beats another guy in the face for a hobby. Now he's trying to make a living going pro. Right hand scored down the middle, some good body work too as these two start to go back and forth here now. Referee's still not calling for a break here, and now he finally steps in. Coming up on 30 seconds left in round number 2. As the Ukrainian, whoa, that one was below the belt there. One of them dropped a little bit low. Lithuanian throwing a few feints there before he went in. Again, BEZVERKHAYI working the body once he's inside. Pulls the head way down. Closing seconds now. Caught him with the left pretty good. Overhand right, bounces off the skull. Caught a few shots with his head down. And that'll end round number 2 as we're now halfway through the fight. big shots going in. A lot of good body work from the Ukrainians. And a couple of good shots going in there. Right towards the end of the round, he caught him real good with the left hand there. Maybe that was it. Maybe not, but a couple of times he tagged him right on the jaw. Still 2 rounds left to go.
Third round.
You heard it, round number 3 here between these two big boys. Interesting that the weight limit is 90 kilos and over. These are the heavyweights. The Ukrainian weighed in at 97.3 and the Lithuanian fighter at 93.5. They both look in pretty good shape here, especially the Lithuanian. Looks pretty cut and ripped for this matchup. Pretty muscular and powerful looking. Both guys very careful when they're inside like that. And here come those short little body shots. He loves that. Loves to get really inside, does A.BEZVERKHAYI, and work that body with short little low hooks. Those are punishing shots. Can't take too many of those over the course of a fight. The wind will start to go out of your sails as the Lithuanian now teeing off here, and this one really starting to get exciting. Zalgirio Arena also starting to fill up here. You can take a look at the crowd really filling out this place. Just looking around the arena, nearly every seat taken at this point. Sure, a couple of people will also be trickling in a little bit later on. Nice overhand right scores that slip through the guard and grabs them by the arm as they continue to throw a couple of little peppering shots there. Some more powerful blows going in. There's a little right hand to the ear. You can see some kind of scrape or some reddening around the corner of the left eye of the Lithuanian fighter. Pulling him around by the back of his neck. Left himself open there, but he ducked out of the way. 1 minute now remaining in round 3. We're just getting started here too, folks. Don't forget, still have 4 big boxing matchups on the way here at Dream Boxing in the main event. Valdes Petrauskas, the Olympic champion, Olympic bronze medal champion in London in 2012, going to be making his pro debut here tonight, and exciting to see what he can bring to the table as a professional. As we mentioned during the introduction, if he had won that bronze medal matchup, he would have advanced to the finals, to the gold medal matchup, and fought Vasyl Lomachenko. So that's the kind of level of boxing we're talking about here. As he ducks under the right hand, as the Ukrainian comes boring forward there. Whoa! Got to protect yourself at all times here, folks. Closing seconds now. You can see some blood now starting to trickle out of the eyebrow. Looks like he's cut right on the eyebrow. That blood is flowing right down into the eye. Well, I thought that was maybe a scrape earlier in the round, but you saw it right there, right towards the end of the round. That thing got busted open. Wow, a couple of wild swings and misses there. We caught him again with the left. It's not going to help his eye very much. You see both guys taking deep breaths in there. They've paced themselves well, and now they're really left jab scores from the Ukrainian. Inside close. This is where a lot of the damage is done to the body. Now he's looking for headshots. Battling it out on the ropes here. Well, it doesn't look like the blood's going into the eye. It's going around the eye, as it very often does if it's flowing southwards on your face, which is good news for him. He's got clear vision. It's blood is kind of drying and crusting around the eye in some parts. Well, he held him behind the head there and let him have it with the left hand. We approach the 1 minute mark now. Good combo there from the Ukrainian on the way in, and again catches him in some very uncomfortable positions on the inside. Those are taxing kind of holds to be leaning on your opponent, pulling his head down. All that stuff really adds up over the course of a 4-round fight. Tires out your opponent, having to carry your body weight like that. I guarantee you'll have a cramp in the back of his neck too. Clock's still ticking here as they shove the mouth guard back into the face of A.BANIULIS, and it's back to action. Caught him with the right hand on the inside. Caught him coming in good, and I thought he was wobbled a little bit there. The Ukrainian looks like he's on spaghetti legs, refuses to go down, but boy, oh boy, is he close. Running out of time here, though. He's going to do something. He's only got a few seconds left. 10 seconds left out. He needs one big shot. Oh! And that's it. Wow, fireworks right at the end of this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting for judge decision.
A.BANIULIS really opened up there in that final exchange and let the Ukrainian have it with all he had left. Got to give him credit, fighting hard all the way to the very last bell in this one. Take a look at what went down in round number 4 here. The blood flowing freely out of the eyes, or out of one of the eyes, out of the right eye. There's a cut on the eyebrow, and then when that mouth guard came out, it bought him a few extra seconds in the round. Once he got that mouth guard back in, went right after him. Look at this. Whoa! Had him stumbling and bumbling all around the ring there, but couldn't put him away. And you got to take your hat off to the Ukrainian too for being able to absorb that kind of punishment that late in the fight and still refusing to go down. So who knows, maybe A.BANIULIS stole that 4th round with that flurry of offense at the end. Certainly the significant shots are going to play a part there. As you can see, he's got his opponent's blood all over him. And we await the final decision. Still see the judges conferring over there, and I believe that Kuzmenka does have the official word as he makes his way into the ring, and we will find out who is the winner. The first contest of Dream Boxing here on Fightbox HD.
Ladies and gentlemen, boxing fight after 4 rounds by points. The winner is blue corner, A.BANIULIS, Lithuania.
Winner by points. I'm interested, what kind of decision? Was it a split decision, a unanimous decision? But he definitely won that 4th round, that's for sure. And so A.BANIULIS successful in his professional debut in his hometown of Kaunas, Lithuania.
Tarptautinis Bushido turnyras KOK Classic sugrįžta į Vilnių. Rugsėjo 26 dieną Siemens arenoje net 2 titulinės kovos bei pajėgiausi kovotojai. Evaldas Petrauskas, Dovydas Rimkus, Erikas Golubovskis, Matas Pultaražinskas, Osvald Fedorovič, Žygimantas Ramaška ir daugelis kitų. Rugsėjo 26 Vilnius Siemens arena. Bilietus platina Tiketa. Visa informacija Bushido.LT.